What's good, y'all? It's your boy Sean P. the Blunt Guy. Hey! And we back with another reaction stream. And today we will be reacting to One Piece content creator Tekking101. If you guys are familiar with this channel, I've done a reaction to Tekking101. He's a actual like YouTuber that I do also follow and have been following for a while at this point. I like his approach. Very playful, very. He's like you could tell he really loves One Piece, and at the end of the day, that's what I enjoy. I enjoy the content creators who love One Piece. I mean, all of them do, but you could tell he's that super fan of it. So. But yeah, so today's video that we will be reacting to from Tekking101 is titled The True Power of the Soul Fruit. Which, if you're not familiar with that is the devil fruit that Big Mom has. So we will be talking about Big Mom and her abilities and her potential with this devil fruit, right? Because we see how OP it is. It's a very OP devil fruit. And it's hard to really not be affected. It's hard not to be affected from it unless you're like a truly brave individual, right? Like we see from Luffy that someone who has no fear, like somebody who doesn't fear Big Mom at this point when she tries to take your soul, if you're not scared of her, it pretty much doesn't have it doesn't have that effect on you, right? But it also has other uses. It doesn't have to simply be Big Mom trying to just take your soul, right? She can she uses her homies. Like we see how the souls that she have taken, she put them into her homies, right? Which is always a funny title given to them, to me, her homies, right? Do the homie. I wish if this was a video, I would have cut it. I would have had a cut right there. Oh man, if anybody's familiar with Boondocks, you'll know what I'm talking about. But yeah, so we see all the uses Big Mom has with her ability, right? Her devil fruit ability. We see that she can extract someone's soul. Like she has the ability to extract a certain amount of years from your soul, right? From your life through, I guess, searching or extracting a certain amount of someone's soul, right? Like, so she can take years from someone's life. She can just straight up kill you. She takes all your soul, straight up kill you. She can use souls that she have taken and put them into objects via her homies, and she can use those objects, right? Like, and there's really no limit to what she can put a soul into, like what she can use her ability on. Like we see that she can put them on like physical objects, like food, right? A cake, a candle, all these things, and then, but we also see that she can put it on something such as something like a cloud or a flame, a little like a fire flame, right? And turn that into something, a big old giant ball of fire in the cloud, right? A cloud that has weather ability. So the things that she give her like different abilities, right? Like that's dope as stuff. That's dope. We got Cube in the building. He says on the bus, so I'll be in and out. He said the Sodu is an interesting devil fruit. Yeah, an intriguing devil fruit. It is. Because think about it. Think about it. Big Mom doesn't have any inherent weather abilities, right? She can't summon fire or anything. But the fact that she could put a soul into fire or into a weather cloud, and then almost create her or create abilities. She can almost give herself new abilities with her devil fruit. And then and another thing, another dope thing about it is her homies, right? Like they can act on their own. You know, and it's not like we she has to constantly give them like a source of energy. Like she's not like this. She doesn't have to consistently give her homies energy like she's a source, right? I mean she because what she uses are other people's souls. So like the souls are the source to these homies that she create, and she has power over these souls, which it's just it's ridiculous how broken her ability is, right? Like she can put souls into anything. She can just take souls as she please. Of course, long as the person fears her, of course, because someone like Luffy, who has a strong will, and he's not really afraid of anything, right? He's never really afraid of anything. So for Big Mom to try to intimidate Luffy, she can't. So she can't extract his soul. But most other characters aren't. They're going to be a little they're going to have some type of fear when when Big Mom's around, right? Like especially fighter characters, and you see how many fighter characters are always around in a given arc, right? We're in the middle of a war where it's like it was over like what 20,000 people. I think Kaido alone had like a force of 20,000, if I remember correctly, and then I think the Alliance had like 5,000. So you're talking about like roughly around 25,000 people, right? 25,000 potential sources that Big Mom has at her disposal, about 25,000. Like at will, just take a snow or take a soul, put it into an object, and that object can fight for you. Come on now. Yeah, Big Mom is broken. She's ridiculously like as far as devil fruit, I would probably say she has a top five when we talk hacks, right? When we talk brokenness and hacks, not like destructive ability, because there's different ways to be powerful for a devil fruit to be powerful, Like I would say Whitebeard's ability is broken as well but for a different reason, right? His is more destructive. He can cause earthquakes, like big earthquakes, and move the oceans. And as for Big Mom, she can put souls into things. She could take souls and she can distribute them souls as she please into other things, be it inanimate objects. I don't I don't know. Like maybe correct me if I'm wrong in the chat. I don't think that Big Mom can put souls into people other than herself. Like I think she can, use the souls for herself. But that will also be a very interesting thing cuz who else better to prove that theory wrong that she can't put it into like living things than someone like Luffy, right? And that could feed into the theory of a new Nightmare Luffy, right? That we talked about with Elids. That'd be interesting. That would be interesting if you ask me. Yeah, Cube said makes sense. Oda gave her that clumsy aspect. Yeah, the you said she'd be too OP. Yeah, I mean, she's. Oh, you mean? Okay. You're talking about the fear thing. The. I'm trying to. I was trying to think of the clumsy aspect you was talking about. Cause I'm like, what the hunger pangs is that? Unless you're talking about the hunger pangs, which I didn't bring up, but yeah, the hunger pangs is definitely a kind of character flaw in Big Mom. Cube said you also said the OP and the Soru are the top five Promethea in my opinion. Uh, I mean, yeah, I'll probably put the OPOP up there. I'll probably put someone like Sugar maybe. You know, like Sugar, her devil fruit, because all she has to do is touch you, and you're pretty much helpless. It don't matter who you are, right? Someone like Sugar. I want to say Perona got a pretty. I probably wouldn't put Perona in the top five, but I think she has a pretty hex fruit, right? She could pretty much take somebody's will to fight, right? Something that you need to fight. She could just kill your whole will to continue fighting. Just when one of her ghosts go through you, and you can't really prevent it. You can't really prevent it. But I think Foxy, I think Foxy got a pretty OP devil fruit as well. If we talking like, I think Foxy, he, I just, I don't think he uses it to the best. But the ability to slow people down, like, okay, I'm gonna kind of go off a little tangent, but there's this character. It's a comic book character, right? He's a flat. Like, if you know who the Flash is from DC, he's a Flash villain. Like, there's two Flashes, right? There's Barry West. He's like the first. I don't know if he's the first. Cause I think there's like an old dude, but I think the old dude's from like a different universe or something. But in the main universe, I think Barry West is the original Flash, the first Flash. But there's the second Flash would be Wally West, right? Wally West is also the fastest Flash, but he has this villain who pretty much has he has a villain he has a villain named Zoom, right? You said Turtle. I think he does have a villain named Turtle, but I'm not talking about Turtle. I think Turtle is a villain in there. It's Zoom. Zoom Hunters Zolomon. If let me read the you said every astro like devil fruit powers are too OP. Then you said Turtle. Jay Garrett is the first Flash in publication. Yeah, I know. I was thinking Jay Garrett was, but I thought he was from a different universe. Like, I'm not that well knowledge in Flash. Like, I'm not doing a sit here and act like I'm this DC Flash expert. No, I just know that, like, I thought in the main universe, uh, Barry West was the Flash, but I do remember Jay Garrick is like the older Flash with the metal helmet with the wings, kind of like the one of them Greek gods. I forget his name. The one that moves fast, Apollo or not Apollo. It's I can't remember, but now I'm gonna be thinking about dude. But yeah, Zoom Hunter Zolomon, right? Like, dude, his power is to pretty much slow down time around him or speed up his personal time. However way you want to look at it. Like, you might know how it works better than I do, Cube, but he can manipulate his personal time to where it's like everything around him is moving slow. But he doesn't really he's not like as fast as the other Flashes, or he's not as fast as Flash or any of the other speedsters. He's not even really like fast if you think about it. It's just he manipulates time to where he's moving faster than everybody else. So it's more of a time manipulation thing. And I'm always looking at Foxy as somebody who, if you give the right person Foxy's ability, he could do something like that where just everybody, like, just imagine awakening that ability. Man, I'm not going on the whole tangent. Like, I think Foxy's devil fruit need to be explored though. You know, whereas somebody like Kizaru is kind of more like Flash. Foxy could be more like Hunter Zolomon, right? Or I would probably say Kizaru would be more like the Reverse Flash, Professor Zoom, the Reverse Flash. So, um, I see you said Barry Allen is the more popular Flash because he joins Batman and Superman to co-found the Justice League. Hence why he's the most popular. Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah. I know that one. I know that. It's just I mean, maybe it was in a show, like maybe I got that because like I'm not that well versed in like all of Flash. I just know some bits and pieces. I'm not that familiar with Jay Garrick. I'm a little more familiar with Barry and Wally, but I'm not that familiar with Jay Garrick. But as far as Foxy, you said Foxy's interesting. Davy back fights has importance. Yeah, I agree with you. You know, I agree. I agree that there's more to it, but maybe that will be how like the Straw Hats and the Blackbeard Pirates fight or something. Have a Davy back fight. Maybe not. I kind of want to see like an all out fight. Like I don't want no, we we taking some of your members and you know. Yeah, Q said, "Oh yes, the Flash show separated them by universe." Yeah, yeah. So I know how them shows are. They don't necessarily stick to the comic material that well. Because even Hunter Zolomon wasn't like he was in the comics. He was a normal. He was like a normal speedster, right? Or I think Zoom in the show was it was Wally West, I think, or not Wally. It was Barry from a different universe. I can't remember. But yeah, let me now that we talking about DC and stuff, let's get to the actual video we reacting to now. Let's get to that. But yeah, the oh yeah, I think something we've been talking all this time. I ain't even say y'all go like the stream and subscribe. Again, I will be giving the for the giveaway this Sunday. I'm gonna be giving the details in the middle of the stream. And also, make sure y'all follow me on Instagram, Twitter, on my Facebook page. If you're looking for a One Piece community to be a part of, we got the One Piece Facebook group and the One Piece Discord. Everything will be in the description box below, so make sure y'all go check that out. But let's get into this video, All right. This is The True Power of the Soul Fruit. And it's by Tekking101. So y'all make sure y'all go to his channel and give him a big old like. I'm gonna like the stream as well, or the video as well. I try, I always y'all don't always see when I do it, but I usually like the videos when I react to them, because that's the least I could do for reacting to it, right? I'm also subscribed to most of these channels I react to. And if y'all want to send me some videos, again, y'all can send them on the Discord. Send them to me on the Discord. Y'all could send them to me on my other social platforms. I think the Discord probably will be the best. And yeah, maybe Twitter too. So it doesn't matter, but Discord is probably going to be the best one. Let's get into it. Tekken speaks One Piece faster than I could think. He's great. Yeah, he has a very like, you could tell he always comes at it a lot from a fan. Like, I mean, a lot of YouTubers are fans, of course, but sometimes they're just too serious. A lot of people are super serious. Tekken seems just like, it's almost like talking to one of your friends, about One Piece, who just loves One Piece. It's like talking to them, right? But let's get this started. Let me start from the beginning.
I'm just going to be frank with you and cut right to the chase. This is going to be part of the Tekking101 emergency broadcast system. We've all read the last chapter of One Piece. In case you haven't, then spoiler alert. But if you have read the last chapter of One Piece, you know Big Mom is on a major rampage. And so for that reason, we have to keep a level head here, okay? We can get through this, but you gotta maintain your cool, all right? If we lose that, when we're just gone, all right? So, I want everybody to reach under your chairs, or couches, or beds, or car seats, or wherever you happen to be.
He can be a little extra at times. I'm not gonna lie, he can be a bit extra. But I do one reason why I do rock with Tekken though, another reason why I rock with Tekken is he's also a Mihawk fan. You know, like I'm mad. I'm a little jealous of him because he got the Yoru. I know I'm saying it wrong. It's either the Yori or the Yoru. I think it's Yori. Um, but I know Q probably gonna correct me. I'm sometimes I tend to get forgetful when I'm live, so that's why I like to depend on you guys to make sure I get right on track of with my memory and everything. But yeah, he got Mihawk sword, and I'm a little jealous of that. I'm a little jealous of that, because I want one. That I'm gonna get one. I'm gonna eventually get one. I might even do one day. I might do a giveaway. Like one of my giveaways are gonna be like I'm gonna give away a sword or something. Like either I'm gonna give like a Zoro sword or Mihawks. I don't know who. I don't know yet. It's the Yoru. The Yoru. Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, that's what I thought. Yoru sounds better than Yori. But let's go.
Watching this video right now and pull out your Big Mom emergency procedure packet. It's down there. You just have to look for it. Okay. Does everybody have their packet? No, seriously, look for the packet. You're not looking for your packet. Come on, this is a matter of life or death. Look for your packet. Okay, good. You got it? All right, great. Everybody's got their Big Mom emergency procedure packet.
I ain't got one.
Everybody to open up to the first page of the packet. All right. And now we have to determine what threat level of Big Mom's Rampage we are currently at. They range from mint all the way up to cake. All right, so we have passed threat level mint. Okay, that was a while ago. I'm not sure if we were ever in threat level mint. All right, well, we're out past Cupcake and Jello. Maybe we were at Jello when she was, in her amnesiac state, because even in that state, she's kind of a threat. But anyway, I would say at the beginning of the battle between Law and Kid, we were at threat level Pi, but we're well beyond that. So that, of course, only leaves threat level Cake. So everybody just maintain their sanity as I read what we're supposed to do.
Cube said, I know that because I am a Mihawk fan. Mihawk, man, that's my guy, man. You see my whole character design, man. It's Mihawk, right? It's Mihawk. It's my dog, man. No, okay, I'm gonna tell you something. Why Mihawk is my guy. Like, when I got into One Piece, right, I think the point that really like hooked me in One Piece, like that just got me like, okay, this is that thing, right? Was the introduction to Mihawk when Don Krieg and when Don Krieg and his crew was harassing the Bartier, right? And then you see Mihawk just cut his ship in half, like just cut that ship in half. It was like that first like huge feat that I was like, okay, now you got some big dogs in this anime. Cause I think at that point, we had Buggy. Now I'm not knocking Buggy. Let's not knock Buggy. Cause he the OG. But Buggy had a cannon, come on. That was his big move at the time, was a cannon. And then you had I forget the one dude who was at Usopp's village, the Syrup village, and he had those long like blades on his hand. He's like a cat, and that's why he always like moves his glasses. I think it's like Captain Kuro or something like that. But he was fast, but he wasn't nothing ridiculous. But then when Mihawk shows up, that's just like. That made my heart sink right there. And I'm like, okay. And just every time we see Mihawk, it's just always some badness. It's always some badassness. The man ain't got a crew. He goes wherever he wants. He goes harass whoever he wants to whenever he bored. Like, he has no crew, and still he's like respected to the level of like a Yonko almost. Like he's almost like people know that he used to rival Shanks, right? So he's always kind of looked up in conjunction with Shanks, who is a Yonko, right? You said Mihawk dog walk Zoro with a small... Exactly, bro. That was a bad... And you gotta understand, at that point, Zoro was my guy. And at that point in the story, Zoro was my guy. He still is my guy. Out of all the Straw Hats, he's my favorite Straw Hat. But but to see Mihawk just Sun Zoro right there was just, I was like, man, this guy, this guy, this guy. Like, he gave Zoro one of his most badass moments, you know. And he also made he also was the first person to give Luffy future sight hockey. if y'all don't know what I'm talking about, go look at that encounter that Mihawk had with Luffy when Luffy was about to go for like I forgot what he was about to go for, what attack he was going for, but he was going to try to go punch Luffy or Mihawk, and Luffy had like future sight hockey for a split second, and he seen if he would send him hands at Mihawk was gonna slice them things up, boy. I don't know why it's a bit. Need some water, but yeah, I'm gonna play the video. We're gonna continue.
This packet contains the information that we have in order to survive. All right, so threat level cake. Run, just run. Why are you reading this? You are most likely dead already.
God damn, bro.
Okay, so if you didn't think that Big Mom's Soul Fruit was already a hideously broken ability in her hands, or I guess inside of her gut, then this chapter certainly proved it. The last few chapters have really done a great job in proving that. Honestly, out of all of the Yonko, I would say Big Mom is the most technical kind of fighter, because for the most part, like, Whitebeard was definitely just like a bruiser kind of character. He's just ridiculously strong. Same thing with Kaido. Yeah, Kaido might be a duck dragon, and he has all these abilities, like, you know, to breathe the Boro breath and also the lightning breath and the wind blades and everything, but still just a physical damage kind of fighter. We don't know how Shanks fights entirely, but I'm going to assume it's just pretty much the sword and hockey. We haven't seen him in a straight-up fight, but we've seen, like, glimmers of how he fights, so I don't think Shanks has, like, a bunch of really technical kind of abilities in his repertoire, and he doesn't have a devil fruit either. Blackbeard might have some stuff, but we got to see some more with him. But up until now, we've...
Yeah, I forgot. Yeah, Blackbeard too. Blackbeard got like an OP devil fruit as well. That I mean, it's not Promisia. I know you was talking about Promisia earlier as far as OP Promisia abilities, but Blackbeard. But to me, the Yami Yami no Mi is more Promisia. Yeah, it works more similar to Promisia than it does Logia, even though it is a Logia. It's been confirmed. But Q said Mihawk dog walk Zoro with a small knife. Been a fan since then. Right? That was about time that I was a fan as well. And he said Kuro. Yeah, it was. I knew it was something like that. It was a green slash. Mihawk has moves that are still a mystery. Yeah, man. I got some theories on Mihawk. I know I've been talking about it for the longest. I'm not the best at doing like creating theories, but I got a theory that I want to eventually work on and put out. You know, I gotta eventually do that. You know, I don't know if I want to do a video, if I want to do an actual stream with it. I think a video might be easier of conveying, you know, all the information and stuff as opposed to a stream. So I don't know yet. I don't know how I'm gonna go about do it when I do it, but I need to do it. Let's continue.
We've seen Big Mom having the Soul Fruit, and she's had this power for over 60 years, and so she's mastered it to the point where she just has a slew of techniques. You know, I could just sit here and rattle off the different moves that she has, but just to, you know, stay with the most, you know, powerful ones, we have the Elbaf Spear, we have the Mazer Cannon, we have the Mazer Saber that she busted out last chapter, combining her three homies together to form the cannon or the sword. The, you know, 3,000 Leagues of Mom's Misery or whatever, which was based off of an anime, and I think the idea there is that exists because that she misses Mother Caramel. So the idea of the misery technique, it might very well be Big Mom's strongest move, and it's inspired because of her desire to meet Mother Caramel again, that technique was created, okay? And so that just creates a homie made out of electricity and fire and raw soul energy that just obeys her every will. Kind of similar to Moria's Doppelman, kind of like a being that comes out of your own being and just completely subservient to you, but just way, way stronger than the Doppelman was, right? Although, who knows? If Big Mom ate the Kage Kage no Mi instead of the Soul Fruit, she might be busting out techniques that Moria never even dreamed of, right? Okay, possible as well there. Also, the Kage Kage no Mi and the Soul Fruit do have a lot of similarities because one creates zombies out of shadows, another one creates homies out of souls. So yeah. And also, we've seen that she's capable.
Yeah, they do have a lot in common. That's also part of the reason why I feel as though Elids, also myself, like we feel like it's possible to bring back a Nightmare Luffy without Gecko Moria. I personally would like to see Gecko Moria return, possibly to Wano, but I don't know at this point if that's going to happen. So, maybe Big Mom is still, Big Mom could possibly still give us a Nightmare Luffy. Now, at this point, I don't know if that's going to happen either. But I'm just saying, like, that would probably be the best chance of getting a Nightmare Luffy. But I think, like, going back, listening to Elids' theory on Nightmare Luffy, I think, if let's say a lot of souls and spirits return, which doesn't necessarily have to do anything with Big Mom. If we see soul or these spirits and if we see these spirits and souls return, maybe somehow they can help Luffy and transform him into a new Nightmare Luffy. But, that's just kind of, who's to say we're even going to get a Nightmare Luffy? I think it would be dope, me personally. I'm kind of just speaking from my own fan canonness or, so it's just that, I would like to see that. I like Nightmare Luffy back in Thriller Bark, and maybe like a Nightmare Luffy with like Gear 4 would just be ridiculous.
Capable of not only tearing out the souls of those around her with her, treat or life ability, but she can also turn, homies into power sources for her as well by consuming the souls from them. And on top of that, she can also turn her broken bones and body parts into homies to magically heal them like that. Seriously, because I missed that. So let's start off with that.
I did point that out.
In the last chapter, her arm was broken through the combination attack of Law using his shock villy, and then also with Kid riding in on the giant mechanical bull, busted her arm. Okay, so it had like two right angles.
Cube says, when you see Soto's capabilities, it makes you wonder how Waffle's Devil Fruit could be really broken. Where do you get... Like, I agree that Waffle's ability can be broken, but where did you how you connect those though? I'm curious how you connect like the brokenness of Big Mom's to the possible capabilities of Waffle. Like, I mean, but Waffle could pretty much eat anything if I remember correctly. Like, I mean, that's pretty broken in itself. Like, could you eat attacks? Like could he eat? I don't really remember like Wapo's limitations on his devil fruit and how his devil fruit like fully works. So you might have to like refresh my memory. But I remember it had something to do with him eating. I just know I remember him eating like pieces of ships and stuff, So is it like he could eat anything or eat only metal? I can't remember. But yeah, like just being able to eat anything and bro, like if you could literally eat anything and your stomach doesn't have like a limitation, that's bruh. You could just eat through people's attacks. You could just eat through somebody's attacks, or if somebody try to, you probably eat fire. Like, can you eat inanimate things? Cube says because because if he eats a homie, that can be crazy. His body becomes the thing he eats. Oh, yeah, I gotta go back and do some research on Wapple. I guess mostly eats metal. That's why like his jaw's metal or whatever. But yeah, bro, like that's ridiculous, man. Just said fuse people together. Man, I'm gonna have to do some research on Wapple.
Angles or whatever, so her arm was broken. She also mentions a few of her ribs were cracked. And so she gets up, and I assume she just used the same thing she did earlier, where she took off part of her own lifespan and then consumed it. So the idea there is that she consumes her own lifespan to get stronger. Like, she literally grows larger and just more powerful, like a kaiju, right? Okay. And I thought that was the same thing she did there, but no, she actually took the souls of others around her, or ripped the souls out of homies that already existed, and bestowed life to her broken bones, turning her broken bones into homies, and then that also magically healed them at the same time. Now, we didn't actually see what was going on inside of Big Mom's body when this happened, so that led to my and a lot of other people's confusion on what exactly happened there. But if you go back and read the chapter, after Big Mom bestows life into her arm, her broken arm, she like flexes. She's like, Mama, I'm at maximum power. Oh no, maximum power. Yes, exactly. How's that for a pun?
Yeah, I think I missed the part where she was flexing, but I do remember the part where she bestowed life into her bones. And I was like, dang, it reminded me of in Dressrosa when Doflamingo pretty much was using his ability to patch up like his organs and stuff, you know. And it's funny that in both of these fights, it always has something to do with Law doing his damage. Like Law just be messing people up internally, where they have to use their abilities to pretty much recover themselves, right? And I also wonder, right? Like if Big Mom, you know, since she can pretty much consume her own life, you know, like portion piece of her life in order to recover and get stronger, could she take a soul, right? Like let's say she takes 20 years from somebody's souls and just add it on to her soul, her life. Like she could pretty much take some of your life. Like let's say she takes 5 years off of your life and adds it to her. Cause with a devil with ability like that, that's scary. That's broken. That is too scary broken. Like you talking about Law's Opie no me the immortal surgery. You talk about that, bro. Big Mom could just do that at a whim. Like let's say she gets some results saying, "Hey, you going down in like 3 years." Big Mom could just be like, "You said 3 years. All right, I'm gonna take 10 years off of you." Like it's like, dang. Then she has 13 years to live, right? Like every time she's nearing death, or she could just do it at one point where she's just like, you know what, I need to add 100 years of my life. So she takes like a bunch of people and just either take all of their life or take like a piece each. Just take it and just add it on to her lifespan. That'd be ridiculously broken. You said Q said check did a mistake. He can create toys like a factory from what he eats. Still OP in my opinion. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna have to do some research on Waffle because I personally kind of forgot his whole shtick, I guess.
That should be the name of her ultimate technique, not the mother's misery technique. Her ultimate technique should be to take out the sword and be like, Maximum! And then like that's her ultimate move, right? But when she flexes, you literally see speech bubbles coming out of her muscles or her arms that are like, yes, mama, which is the way the homies always act, you know, like they always immediately go subservient to her, okay? So I want you to just imagine what was going on with Big Mom's broken arm, okay? So Kid broke her arm at least in like 2 or 3 different places. I'm not a doctor, ask Law, but I'm assuming there's like I don't know, in your arm, there's like a bone. It's just one bone right here, whatever. Let's say that was broken here,
I think it's
here, and
like
here.
two.
Okay, it was
I think
broken in
it's
like
two
three different
bones.
places, right? That means when Big Mom ripped the souls out of the others around her or the other homies and bestowed them to her arm, the bone was just like, I am sentient now. That's crazy. Oh, I better paste myself back together. And not only is the bone capable of automatically healing itself, but also makes her stronger in the process because she was flexing. She had some guns.
See, I don't know about that. I don't know about that. Like, I don't know if it healed, because again, we didn't see anything. So did the bones repair themselves, or did they more so just act on their own to where, since she couldn't move it, right? Because it's broken. Like, let's say you break your arm, you can't move it. But if like you make the bones alive or the muscles, you could just make the muscles move your arm for you and do what you need to do, as if you know, as if you know your bone is fine, but it still doesn't undo the damage, right? Because I would think just because they're alive, that doesn't necessarily mean they can repair themselves. I mean, maybe they did. I don't know, but I don't know. It just seems little weird, a little weird for me. I don't really fully understand what happened. You know, you said I felt like her arms were healed up. I mean, maybe I guess that could have been the case. I mean, I guess when she gives the soul, it's also energy, life energy. So I mean, I don't know. I don't know.
All right, so I don't know how that works. If she bestow, like, let's say the bone was broken into three different places. Did she bestow life to all three separate sections of the broken bone, and then the bones come to life inside of her arm, and they're like, "All right, man, we gotta paste ourselves together for Big Mom. All right, so middle section, you stay locked in place. Top section, lock in. Bottom section, boom. It's like a freaking Megazord inside of Big Mom's arm, and just like boom, full power. All right, so the reason why this is broken, literally and figuratively, is because Big Mom does not even need to use her own lifespan in order to use this ability. She literally rips the lifespan out of others around her because that's how she usually creates homies. Yes, Hera, Prometheus, Zeus, Napoleon, they're all created with her own lifespan, so they're like special kind of homies. But most of the homies that she creates are always with the ability to rip souls out of other people and then toss them into these inanimate objects. And she usually keeps a bunch of souls on hand for that very reason, right? And even if she needs souls, it's not hard to get them. All she has to do is stomp up to some of the beast pirates or random samurai or anybody that's around her and just be like, treat or life, Oshiruko.
Q said, but not sure if she healed them. Could be a loophole with her devil fruit. Yeah, I don't know if you consider it healing, or if just giving them life makes it to where they stay firmly together, kind of, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's kind of the route I think that it works. More of the giving them life doesn't necessarily repair them, but it makes it to where you don't have to actively try to move your arm, where your homies in your arm are doing the work for you, right? Like, like they're working with each other. Like, all the homies in your arm work with each other to move normally, even though they're broken. It's like take her ability for example. Like, if she if she took like a vase, right, that was broken, but let's say they glued it together, and then she put a homie into this glued up vase. I don't know if the cracks go away, but the fact that, like, it was, I don't think the cracks go away, but the vase could still move, right? It still could be active, and possibly it does strengthen the structure of the vase, just like it might have strengthened her bones as well. But I don't know. I don't know. It's weird. He says she should take Orochi, so if he has one. I mean, I'm pretty sure Orochi has a soul. It's just a very dark one. But yeah, maybe if each of Orochi's head had a soul or something, maybe taking Orochi's soul would be like taking multiple souls at once, since he's a Hydra, right?
For life, and then they'll go like, I don't know, because the idea is that the fear of Big Mom, or the fear of her taking your soul, is what gives that technique power, and the only way to avoid it is to be so stalwart with your convictions that you like stare into Death's maw, Death's mom, and you look right at her, and you're just like, I'm not afraid of you. And then like Jinbei was like the only person able to resist that power because of just his conviction, right? Okay, but most people do not have that. Most people do not have the conviction of Jinbei.
Did Luffy not resist it? I could have swore Luffy resisted it as well. Cause he said only Jinbei, but I feel like Luffy also resisted it. Maybe I'm tripping. You know, if anything, I thought Luffy was the only one that resisted it that we seen. You know, I remember Jinbei. Maybe, yeah, I guess I do remember Jinbei resisting it, but I remember Luffy resisting her ability as well. I don't know. I could be wrong.
Bay, all right? So anybody, she could stomp up to any of the random beast pirates, the waiters or the pleasures that are around her, and be like, treat or life, and they'd be like, ah, and then she just rips their souls out and consumes them or throws them into homies or whatever. And so that's the power with other people. That has nothing to do with her own lifespan, her own soul, or anything like that. And she could just do that. Think about all the possibilities there. She rips muscle ligaments or her broken bones that we saw. She ruptures an organ. Like, what happens if, let's say, for example, Kid takes like a giant drill. Like we saw him make a railgun in the last chapter. Let's say he makes like a giant impact drill, you know, powered by electromagnetism. So the drill is like spinning, and you know, so it's like, I will be the drill that will pierce the heavens, you know, and then he just like stabs Big Mom like right in the chest with this giant freaking giga drill break thing, and just rips a hole right through her and takes out one of her lungs, along with her ribs, her flesh, her muscle, her bone, just completely annihilate. There's a giant hole just in Big Mom's chest, okay? Could Big Mom just use the power of other homies to like repair her lungs or whatever, or her body? Maybe that would be going a little bit too far. Maybe that's what they would actually have to do. Maybe that's how the way they're gonna have to take her out, or you know, like Law just makes like Kid makes the drill, and then Law uses his K-Room or Kuromu ability or whatever you want to call it, and you know, uses that power to like pierce her right through, both with the op fruit, the internal damage, and also Kid's ability for external damage that just blasts a hole right through her and then drops her. You know, that might be the best way to take her out. I'm not really sure if she's not taken out already from the railgun move and the puncture vile and all that kind of crap, right? But yeah, so it's pretty powerful. I mean, even if there's, like I said, like there's nobody around her, she tends to keep souls on her for that reason, kind of like stockpiled and everything like that. And this is not, of course, the base power of the soul fruit. Like, Big Mom was not capable of doing this kind of stuff as soon as she consumed, well, she didn't consume the fruit, she consumed Mother Caramel, who had the fruit. But, you know, she had the power for over 60 years, and so over the decades and decades, she's learned all these crazy abilities, so it makes sense that she would be this difficult to take down, right? So with that being said, is she down for good, right? Because it implies that if you give her an inch, if you give her any time to recover, she can literally just do that kind of whenever, you know, unless Big Mom is down right now and loses consciousness briefly, and then Kid and Law just like rampage, just let loose all of their attacks. But it was revealed in the last chapter that they are pretty much out of steam. Now, that's the only thing that I have to bring up, is they've said this before. That's the only thing. Like, when they first went into their awakenings against Big Mom, they were like, you know, these attacks drain a crap ton of stamina, and we're already pretty weak. And because remember, they had a huge fight with Big Mom before they activated their awakenings, and then they activated them, and they're like, okay, we only got one shot with these, but then Law's been pulling them out like crazy, okay? But then again, you could also say it's like the typical shonen thing, the same thing with Luffy, where Luffy definitely has a point where he hits his limits, but then Luffy is capable of going past those limits at the cost of his own lifespan. Like, look what happened with Lucci. like Luffy was down, he was out in that fight with Lucci, he was about to be defeated, but he summoned up that power, that rage, that drive to save one of his crew members, to save Robin. By the way, Robin's birthday was yesterday. Happy birthday, Robin. Sorry I forgot, but happy birthday to you. Also, here's that epic scene where she flipped Big Mom down a flight of stairs. That was pretty cool. But anyway, yeah, so because Luffy had this drive.
Dang, man, why you gotta remind us about that? He talking about Big Mom and then gonna show that L Big Mom took. I guess you was one. And I don't necessarily look at it as an L because they didn't hurt Big Mom. They just got rid of her. Beating somebody doesn't have to mean you're just like, physically beating them up or knock them out. Sometimes you just gotta get somebody out of the way, right? And that's the best thing to do with powerful characters sometimes. Just try to get them out of the way,
Drive in him, he was able to push back past his own limits and use Gamu Gamu no Jet Gatling to defeat Lucci. But after that, he was rendered completely immobile and he could not move. So there was like a price to pay for pushing past the limit. Probably going to be the same thing here with Law and Kid, where, they should have really probably stopped the fight after their initial awakening moves, but they couldn't. They just have to keep going and going. Kind of the same thing when Law opened up that giant room that covered all of the mountain at Dressrosa, the Flower Hill, and then that's when he was fighting Doflamingo and Treble and everything, right? And Law even said, this is probably going to shorten my lifespan a bit, okay? So yeah, they're just because of their strong will. We know Kid has Conqueror's Haki. I mean, if Law was revealed to have it, I don't think anybody would be surprised at this point. But just because their strong conviction in their Haki and their will, they can push past these limits, and they're kind of running on pure, endorphins and adrenaline right now. But after this fight is over, after utilizing their awakening so much, they are gonna feel the kickback from this, okay? And they might feel that as soon as next chapter. So Kid uses his railgun technique, which is probably a really complex power to use because you're not just pulling together a bunch of scrap metal to punch something really hard. You're literally forming a complex machine at that point with a power source, with wires and cables and gears and 2 rails with different kinds of electrical magnetism charged in each one, and then firing a giant laser beam. So that's a very technical ability to use. And then
that is a good point right there. That is a great point. You gotta think about Kid's engineering his engineering savviness. I know he can create things with his magnetism, but in order to create something, you gotta still know how it works. I mean, unless it was some type of reality warping abilities where you could just create something out of nothing, right? Where you could just summon something off of a thought, or maybe you could, duplicate something that you might have seen before. From every detail, you can duplicate it. With Kid, it's he has to take all these metal pieces and turn them into a gun that fires something. It's not like he's just summoning a rail gun. He had to actually take all the metal around him and put it together and make it capable of shooting, right? That's how I kind of look at it. That's what I would think. And it's he has to have some level of electrical engineering or just some type of engineering field, right? Whatever, Tony Stark, right? Whatever engineering field Tony Stark was in, he got to have some type of engineering skills, right? And I don't know if it's ever been confirmed that he has those skills, but I would think, that would be necessary to pull the type of stuff that he's pulled,
Then you have Law's puncture technique, which he was stabbing through Big Mom, deeper, gotta go deeper. By the by, go back and read that last chapter. There is a slew of sexual innuendos all throughout it. Somebody mentioned that, And I'm like, there weren't that many sexual innuendos. And I went back and reread it. And if you actually look for them, they are all over the place in that last chapter. There are so many of them. But anyway, yeah. So he's like, deeper, deeper. And then he activates that move. So it could be a thing where, okay, how did the last chapter end? It ended with Big Mom getting hit with the railgun and then getting knocked back. And then Law was like, your era is over. So we might have a scene where Big Mom, boom, she hits the ground, and then Kid and Law are there, and they're about to like argue with each other again, or be like, hey, you stole my kill, Eustace. Yeah, screw you, Trafalgar. And then, like, right in the middle of their argument, like, right when they're about to, like, make sure she's down for good, or it's like, maybe we should, do a double tap to make sure, or I guess it'd be a triple or quadruple or a septuple tap at this point to make sure she's down for good. Right as they're about to go over there and deliver the coup de grace or make sure she's down for good, that's when all of a sudden their bodies just give out. That's when Law is like, all right, let me make sure, and then he just face plants and he just hits the ground, and then Kid's like, Trafalgar, I told you overdid it, you idiot. And then that's when Kid like spews blood and he's like, I might have overdone it as well, and then boom, he passes out too, because they gotta hit a limit. I think they already hit their limit, but there has to be a pretty big price to pay for that limit. Okay, so yeah. Now, in that situation, I could kind of see it going with Kid and Law passing out, and both of their respective crews are just like, oh no, Captain, it's okay though, they took down Big Mom. But that's when Big Mom kind of crawls back up, and she's like, mama, mama. And like at that moment, all the members of the Heart Pirates and the Kid Pirates that are there, they just look upon Big Mom standing back up after taking all this damage, and they just realize...
That's kind of what I'm hoping. Like, Big Mom, like, if Big Mom, if it goes down like that, I could actually kind of see it going down something like that with Kid and Law maybe losing steam. They're out of it. Maybe Big Mom comes back up, and maybe she doesn't finish him off. Maybe she said, okay, they're down, whatever. Because I wouldn't want her to finish off Kid and Law. They're important to the overall story. But, maybe she goes off to the roof and, see what Kaido's up to. That's what she wanted to do in the beginning, right? And the reason why I don't want Big Mom to go down is just I don't want to see a Yonko go down. Like we see how Yonko could fight for days, how Ambrose fight for days. So to see a Yonko go down, even though you could say she got jumped, she got teamed up against as well as Kaido, but it's like I want to see Big Mom fight longer than just 15 minutes, which is pretty much the time from when she started fighting, because it was around when Onigashima started moving, and it. But I don't really remember. I don't really remember like when she started fighting compared to when we got that Onigashima was going to crash into the Flower Capital in like 15 minutes. And that's probably, now that I think about it, that might actually been delayed or even stopped, because when we see what Momonosuke is doing, he's pretty much pulling Onigashima away from the Flower Capital. So, it's going to at least be delayed until they get to the Flower Capital. And that 15 minutes that we got is going to either be longer or it's going to be not a factor anymore. So, we're just going to have to see. And we got to see if Big Mom is actually indeed down. I don't know, I'm having problems talking, But yeah, let's continue.
Is that they're dead. Like, this is truly a demon or a devil. This is no longer a human being. This is something, Big Mom is an entity that should not exist on the mortal plane. And they're all about to just, give up on life. Like, it's over. It's done. We can't win. And then that's when Big Mom tries to heal herself with her soul powers or rip out the souls of others to heal her wounds or whatever. Like this is no big deal. I could just heal myself. But then that's when her body gives out at that point from all the fights that she's been in and all the damage she's taken up until now. She fought against Marco, remember, at the beginning of this war at Onigashima. She fought against Marco, and then she fought against Kid and Law and Luffy and Killer and Zoro and everybody, on top of the Skull Dome. She took some damage there from a few attacks, and then from that moment on, she's just been brawling with Kid and Law constantly, right? So she's taken so much internal damage, so much external damage here from both of their attacks in the process. It's going to catch up to her. And at that point, her body does give out. And it's a thing with Big Mom, I will say, that Big Mom is just so used to being like this indestructible force of nature. As Sanji called her during Tauntland, she's like an indestructible iron balloon. She's so used to that. She's so used to not hitting her limit that she no longer believes she has a limit. She thinks that no matter what happens, she can always just use her own soul or the souls of others to power her up, or rely on Napoleon or Hera or Prometheus or whatever to give her new strength, okay? And it gets to a point where she literally does hit her peak. Like, she just cannot fight anymore. Also, she is older now, right? Like, she was probably in her prime when she was in her 30s or 40s, but now she's in her late 60s. And maybe this is damage that she could have recovered from when she was in her 40s or whatever, and she's like, oh, I haven't gotten this much damage on me since God Valley, but during that fight I almost died as well, and I could just consume my...
Cube said... Q said you were having trouble talking because you were accessing your observational hockey. I wish, man. I wish. Today I'm just a little off. I ain't gonna lie. Like, I've just been talking so much. Sometimes my words just start to blend together. It seems like, you know what I'm saying? But it could be the observation. Maybe it's the Conquerors hockey, man. I'm telling you. It's the Conquerors hockey. Conquerors.
my soul to bring myself back, so I guess I just have to do that now. But it's like she's older, and her lifespan has been shortened a few times, and then she just can't do it, and like her body just gives out and she passes out. She doesn't die, and she will eventually recover at a very fast pace, but for right now, at this moment, at this instance, she's lights out, okay? And then that'll give Kid and Law's crews enough time to, like, pick them up and leave. That would actually be an interesting scene to see, like, the Kid's crew picking up Kid, and then the Heart Pirates picking up Law, and they just kind of stare at each other and be like, well, we're enemies, but we have to make sure our captains survive, because Law's crew would know more about first aid and have more doctors and stuff rather than Kid's crew. Although they didn't really know how to deal with Luffy when he was drowning. That was kind of a thing. It was like, we already pumped all of the water out of Luffy, but now he's not waking up. Do we just inject medicine into him? We don't know what to do. I'm like, okay.
That's because Law is the doctor of his crew. He's a captain and a doctor, so... I don't think, maybe he's the only one with medical skills,
Come on, you're the freaking surgeon of death's crew. They didn't teach you how to save a drowning person? Come on. Right? Okay. Anyway, I ostensibly Law's crew would know more about first aid and that kind of stuff. So maybe they would work together. I don't really know. But Big Mom would at least be knocked out for the period of this fight. And you know what I was thinking? Because the big question always comes up, like, what happened to Big Mom's crew, right? Like, what happened to them? Are they still at the bottom of the waterfall or what? And it would be interesting. The one interesting thing where Big Mom gets knocked off of the waterfall again, but this time she hits the ship on the way down, and that would be the way that they leave Wano. Like, we're done with this. But at this point, it would be rather interesting if Big Mom's crew does actually manage to get to the top of Onigashima.
Only reason why I would think that wouldn't happen is because they're over land. They're over the land at this point, and Big Mom's crew, they're not even in Wino as far as we know. And even if they did go up the waterfall, they'd probably still be in the water. And currently, Onigashima was over land, so I would think she would have landed on the land. Unless they're Unless they got the Wano at this point and they're actually traveling across the land, and there are a lot of people in Big Mom's crew that knows how to skywalk. So I could see them actually being able to get the Onigashima while it's in the sky. We haven't really, and we haven't really seen any characters who could skywalk in Kaido's crew. But I will also say Kaido's crew has flyers, like it has characters who can actually fly, because we seen from we seen at the point where Luffy and Zoro tried to get to the roof, and then Queen stopped them, and then we see King kind of lording over the skies, you can say, even though it's still in Onigashima, and we also see a bunch of other flying uh, characters, right? Part of flying beast pirates. So King's not the only person in the beast pirates who has wings and can fly. I think his division, whoever he's in charge of, are the flyers, right? So Kaido has some flyers, so I don't think there's really a need to have the ability to skywalk, right? There's not a need to have people on the crew who can do that when you got people on the crew who can actually fly. As opposed to Big Mom, she doesn't have many zone users that can, or just users with the innate ability to fly. Maybe not innate, because it would probably be based off of a devil fruit, right? So she doesn't have that. We haven't seen. So she needs some people who can access the sky as well. So that's where we got Skywalkers, And as far as the other Yonkos, Whitebeard, he had Marco, you can say, but that's the only flyer I could think of in Whitebeard's crew. Blackbeard, I don't know if maybe he has some Skywalkers. I don't know. Maybe he has some people who can skywalk or moonwalk, whatever you want to call it. Maybe Blackbeard does, and also Shanks. We haven't really seen his crew. From what I know, there's nobody with any confirmed devil fruit, so I wouldn't think anybody in his crew has a devil fruit ability that can grant them flying type abilities. So maybe he got some Skywalkers or Moonwalkers, whichever one you want to call, as well. Luffy, he has Sanji. That's all he has at the moment is Sanji.
Or get to the top of Wano, they would still have to figure out some way to get to the top of Onigashima because it's floating. But then again, well, actually, you know what could happen? Okay, what if Onigashima goes down, right? Like Momo lowers it, or Luffy does
Kind of want to rewind what he was talking about, because he was talking about. Cube says Lafayette has wings. I'm okay. Yeah, because he did get the what was it, Mary Joa? He did get the Mary Joa, and hold on. He did get the Mary Joa, or wherever they was doing that Shichibukai summit. So I think he could. I think he does. He may have flying abilities. So yeah, Lafayette, I guess. And he said, "And the giant who ate the giant devil fruit." The giant who ate the giant devil fruit. Part of Blackbeard crew. What's his name? Sanjon Wolf. Is that what we talking about? We saw he had angel-like wings at Impel Down or Marineford. I have to go back and find who's the giant you was talking about. Who's that giant? I'm gonna continue.
He hits the ship on the way down, and that would be the way that they leave Wano. Like, we're done with this. But at this point, it would be rather interesting if Big Mom's crew does actually manage to get to the top of Onigashima, or get to the top of Wano. They would still have to figure out some way to get to the top of Onigashima because it's floating. But then again, well, actually, you know what could happen? Okay. What if Onigashima goes down, right? Like Momo lowers it, or Luffy does defeat Kaido, and the island crashes somewhere in the Udon region, somewhere in the wastelands of Wano. And then that's finally when Big Mom's crew arrives. Maybe they took the Moga report. Maybe they tried to get in through another means. That's why it's taking them so long. It's like, we're not going up that damn waterfall again. So they go around to the other entrance to the Moga report, and they get in that way. And
yeah, about him, he's a weird case. I didn't know he had a giant devil fruit. Honestly, I forgot he had a devil fruit. I don't remember it being said, but because I would think, like, how's he getting around? Like I would think he has to travel through the ocean because he's so big. Like I don't think Blackbeard has a ship to carry somebody as big as him. He's like probably one of the biggest characters that we've seen. That's wild. And so it would make sense that if he was already a giant and ate a giant devil fruit, that's god dang, that's ridiculous. Cause he's big, man. He's a big dude. He's like bigger than Oars, right? Cause we seen like Oars Jr. at Marineford, and then we see him and he was bigger than Marineford, right? Oars Jr. He was like Oars Jr. wasn't that big, but Sanjin Wolf or whatever his name is, he was towering like the tallest peak of Marineford, right? Like he was like same height. He like when he was hiding when Blackbeard crew got there. So he's a big dude. I don't know who's bigger out of him and Watasumi. Like I would be curious to see who's bigger. I would think him. I would think, but Watasumi I think is pretty big too.
And that, I think, exits in the Hakumai region, which, depending on how far Onigashima makes it, they might be close to that. So maybe they go up through the Mogura port, and then they're on mainland Wano, and then they have to traverse on foot to Onigashima to help, Big Mom. But at that point, the fight is already over. Like, Onigashima finally lands, Kaido is defeated, Big Mom is defeated. The fight is over for all intents and purposes. And then that's when the Big Mom crew finally shows up, like Smoothie and Compote, and everybody is there. Mont d'Or, everyone's there. And like, Big Mom, no! And Big Mom's defeated, and that's when they bring her up and they carry her away. And that's basically what they're going to do. Like, Smoothie or somebody might be like, so do we stay and fight? And they're like, look, the fight's already over. We might be able to win, but I think Big Mom's life is more of a necessity. Because if Big Mom dies, then all of the homies disappear as well. And if that happens, then the entirety of Totland is basically in ruin. So they have to make sure Big Mom survives. So that would be actually a very interesting moment if it's like Luffy and everybody's already injured to the point where maybe if the Big Mom pirates wanted to, they could wipe them out. But it's like Big Mom is so close to death, they have to save her. So they get her out of Wano, carry her back to Totland, and that way Big Mom might have a role to play in the final saga, the final epic throne wars of One Piece, or whatever you want to call it. But yeah. Also, question before I go is what was up with the misery then, if Big Mom really does lose consciousness? Because when Big Mom was in that crazy mental state, after remembering Mother Caramel and after having her picture destroyed by Brooke, and she's like, Mama, no! And she was in this very distraught state where she wasn't really conscious. She was just letting out these screams. The homies did not deactivate. They acted a little erratically because of her mental state, but, in that state, they were still there. So that makes me wonder, like, if Big Mom is knocked out. No, that can't be the case, because she was knocked out a few times in this story, and the homies were still active. She was knocked out by Queen for a moment, and then drugged, and then, chained up, and then brought to Onigashima. So, yeah, she was unconscious for that moment. There were a few moments, like when she washed ashore on Wano, she was knocked out. Even when she had amnesia, the homies were still active, and they still remembered who they were. Like, Napoleon still remembered who he was, but he was just shy, so that's why he didn't bring up anything when Big Mom had amnesia. So knocking her out probably doesn't turn off all of the homies that are active, but if she died, it would. And that would be a problem, right? So, yeah. Anyway, so my point is with Misery, though, like, is Misery still going to be active even though Big Mom might lose consciousness from Kid and Law's combo attack? Would the Misery still be out there? Because I'm imagining Napoleon and Prometheus and Hera, they would still be active, so Misery would still be there as well. So maybe you would have another character show up. Maybe like Jinbei shows up to fight against the Misery or whatever and defeats her. And obviously is a threat, but not as much of a threat as Big Mom when she's conscious. So there might be something like that. Maybe the Misery and Napoleon and everybody could pick up Big Mom and get her out of harm's way. Like a situation where Hera and Prometheus are like, Mama, no! And like they're about to deliver the finishing blow and they just pick her up and they just carry her away. It's like, we have to get her to safety! And then the homies get away with Big Mom and then they run into the Big Mom crew, like Smoothie and everybody, and then they rendezvous and they just get out of Wano. Maybe something like that. Because at that point, like, Prometheus and Hera can fly, so they could literally pick up Big Mom and just carry her off of Onigashima that way, float her down to the surface of Wano, and then get off the island. It could be something like that. That would probably be the best way for them to like escape, right? Because even if Big Mom is unconscious from the attack and she's not dead yet, I don't think there's really anything that the Heart Pirates or Kids crew could do to like finish her off for good, even if they wanted to, because her body is just so ridiculously powerful. Even if she's at her weakest state, you can't just take a sword and just finish her off. It's just gonna snap. You have to have insanely powerful hockey or a devil fruit to make it work, right? Well, anyway, that's the video on Big Mom.
Could just toss her in the ocean.
Maximum power.
You could just toss Big Mom in the ocean and call it a day. Just toss her in the sea or whatever that sea was that where Onigashima was. Just toss her in there and call it a day. Ain't nobody there to save her. She'll drown before anybody even ever find her. Right? To me, I'm shocked that like more characters don't try to go about that way to trying to kill devil fruit users, right? Like we seen that early in One Piece when you get like Arlong, like the Arlong arc, or just like when Crocodile tried to drown Luffy and his crew, and they had them crocodiles and stuff. Like you don't really see that often, to where they're just trying to like throw a devil fruit user in the water to get rid of them, right? That would probably be the most effective way to beating a devil fruit user. But the question would be is like, especially if they're a tough character, it's not going to be so easy in doing that. But if they're knocked out, right, somebody, I don't see why Kid couldn't just scoop her up with like, I can see why Kid couldn't do it because maybe he's too tired. But if he had the energy, why he couldn't just use his metal to scoop her up and then place her in the water, or Kid just kind of like throw a rock where the water is and then switch, like summon room and then switch Big Mom and the rock and then she falls into the water. Something like that, those are probably the easiest ways to get rid of a devil fruit user. But as far as what him ending, like what he said during the ending, possibly having Hera and Prometheus and Napoleon kind of take Big Mom and take her to her family and then get out of Wano. I can see that being a viable option to get Big Mom out of the way and bring her back next time, like bring back later arc, like cause she'll still recover and heal and then she'll come back, right? It could be something along that line. And then as far as Kaido and when he gets defeated, the world government is there, so I could possibly see them possibly taking Kaido in, maybe, of course the Straw Hats, I could see them, getting away possibly. But yeah. And then even if Kaido, let's say he goes to Impel Down or he gets taken in. He gets taken in, he could still possibly escape and come back for the future war, right? I mean, that's something that I talked about with somebody a while ago. Like, I think this was early Wano when we used to talk about how Kaido would be defeated. And, that was one way, one of the people I talked to, like my theory or my speculation was always like, possibly Kaido end up winning, right? Or maybe he bails. Maybe he just says, you know what, I want to go start this war. I'm leaving. I'm out. Or he wins, right? Those are two ways we could see him in the major war later, right? Or maybe he does get defeated and he gets captured and he eventually escapes, and then we see him in the major war. There's ways you could go about it. But yeah. Anyway, that's all I got. That's all I got for the stream. Let me get drink me a little water before I end this. My shoulder hurting. Well, anyway, it's your boy Sean Peter Blumpf. Hey, and that's pretty much the stream. Make sure you Well, first and foremost, let me know what you guys thought of the video. What do you think about Big Mom's ability and the potential, the full potential? If let's say she's not down and out, or if we get her later in the story, what is the full potential of her powers? What do you think? What do you think about her ability in a sense? Do you think she's down for the count after we got the last chapter? Is she down for good? Let me know your thoughts in the chapter, as well as make sure you give your boy a like, subscribe if you haven't already. I am doing a giveaway with the details will be shared this Sunday, this Sunday's chapter stream. And I'm going to be doing it in the middle of that stream. Not in the beginning, not in somewhere in the middle. So make sure you watch the stream. Even if you can't make it live, make sure you watch the stream later. And as well as follow me on Instagram, on Twitter, on my Facebook page. As well, if you're looking for a One Piece community to be a part of, we have the One Piece Discord in the One Piece Facebook group. All of these will be linked in the description, as well as the link to this video that we reacted to. So make sure you go to that video and give him a like, and subscribe if you like the content. That was a lot of as wells I've just gave. God dang. God dang. Anyway, I'm out of here. Y'all have a good evening. There won't be a stream tomorrow, but we will be streaming Sunday. So y'all make sure y'all make that stream. Y'all better make that stream. I'm telling you. And if you don't make it, you better watch it. You better watch the playback of it, because I will be giving the details on the giveaway. Especially if you want to win the giveaway, Anyway, I'm out of here. Y'all have a good evening. Peace.